here with Mr. Oscar Gonzalez, who is in charge of our Alpha Lead program, which is our, I guess you could say, managed Facebook marketing program, which has been phenomenal, especially for the telesales side of the business, and as well as headed up the charge on creating our CRM, our Dig Agency CRM, which is like 99% done.
We're almost there.
We're almost done.
There. Yeah.
99, yeah. Which is just, it's incredible. So the reason I have Oscar here is really to talk, I think, in general about leads when it comes to sustainably creating leads and having leads, selling final expense. We're also going to talk CRMs, maybe what you need to look for in a CRM, and really just generally about the business, because Oscar's had a lot of experience in social media marketing. He's gonna give his bio here in a second, and a lot to offer in terms of how to market yourself successfully. So why don't you introduce yourself, Oscar?
Sure.
Tell the audience a little bit about yourself and what you do.
Yeah, absolutely. So, like David said, my name's Oscar. I've been in online marketing in some way, shape, or form for going on about 11 years now. Between not all of it insurance. I've really only been in the insurance business now about 3 years, but my background is really from e-com. So back in like 2011, 2012, I started an e-com business that a partner and I did, and we sold household items and women's clothing, all kinds of items. And we took that business from zero to almost 6 million a year, for quite a while. So hit Inc. 5000 a couple times, and all of it was done through online advertising. We sold products online through Instagram, a lot of Facebook, obviously, affiliate marketing. And in 2020, I exited that business, and that's when I went into insurance. And as soon as I got in, I went into video advertising and running ads on Facebook and a lot of TikTok as well. And I knew that there was a huge opportunity in the insurance business for agents and agencies to really start using video, which now you're seeing a lot more of, and it's a lot more common, and you're seeing independent agents kind of create their own brand online. So now you're seeing a lot more of it, but it's what's driven us and everything that I've been able to do. And so I do have a small final expense team that's under David's hierarchy. And then I also do a little bit of ACA insurance, health insurance, that I've been doing for a few years. And I just kind of maintain that book now as I've grown that. So, but yeah, now our main focus now is really, lead generation systems for agents, and now online, running actual leads for agents on a monthly basis.
Yeah. So question for you. I can't even see that. Oh, you don't like that? Is that the problem, guys?
No, I just.
What? Oh, the glare. The glare. You can close some of that. Yeah. Okay. Just a few of them. Sorry. Thank you, David. So I have a question for you. Just first thing I can think of here. One of the most popular questions we get asked from final expense agents is marketing or self-generating your own leads. Should you do it or should you not? What's your kind of perspective on doing your own leads? What are some benefits? What are some of the pitfalls?
Yeah. I think there is a place for buying leads. I think there's some good lead vendors out there. And I think that agents, sometimes when they first come in, it does make a lot of sense, sometimes for you to buy leads and experience that before jumping into the lead generation, where you're actually running the Facebook, where you're actually doing all the work. Some people want to take that on, right? Some people are ready. They say, I want to do this. I want to learn. I want to go through the pitfalls. But it is a lot more to take on, especially if we're talking about final expense and you're a newer agent, learning the sales presentation, learning the underwriting hump, the different e-apps, all the different things that you already have to master pretty quickly, right? To start turning that profit. Adding lead generation sometimes is just a lot more, and not a good idea for some people. But for the right person, and once you get to the right place, it's really, really beneficial, because you go from buying leads, if we talk about price, buying leads at retail, and then not to mention, you really don't have control of that. Thinking about now as a business owner, which is what, any independent agent is, how can you control the data, the data that's out there that you're actually purchasing as a lead? If you can generate that yourself as a wholesaler, and really understand the message that you're delivering to that prospect, capturing them, and then using all the other technologies that we're doing, gosh, that's powerful, and where people should want to be at some point.
What do you see right now as best practices for marketing on Facebook? Because there's a lot of vendors out there. You'll buy leads and they're like, it's a free government program. You think you're buying a final expense lead, but then you get a lot of frustration from the leads. Give us what's been working to convert high quality leads.
Yeah, yeah. There's a ton of different options out there. I mean, you can get leads at pennies, you can get leads at dollars, you can pay 50, 60, $70 for a live transfer. There's really a lot of things out there. One of the things that works for us that we really focus on, again, are running video ads. And so those videos really are components, and they're put together with a good thought out process, right? Which is, we want to deliver a strong hook, understanding that people are on Facebook not looking for life insurance, right? They're not looking for final expense. They're just scrolling on Facebook. And so you have to capture them, and we have to quickly identify pain points and try to get that person to say, hey, you know what? Maybe I need this. And so we're going after that market 50 plus. We deliver a strong hook in the video, then we deliver pain points. We talk about the things that are going to happen if they don't take action, right? If they don't protect their family, the amount of money sometimes that they have to come up with in 48 hours. So we highlight these things that, as parents and at that age, they could really kind of set the tone and say, gosh, maybe I do need to look at this. And then we deliver solutions, affordable burial programs with no medical exams, things of that nature, that really then say, wow, okay, I do want more information about this. And that's how we kind of really, capture somebody's information, and not, create these bait and switch tactics that are so popular in just about any telesales industry, not just insurance, but in the insurance business. You just got to look out for the leads that you're buying, because you don't know how they're being generated. And more often than not, their profit comes from selling you a lead. That's it, right? So, and if you think about the amount of agents coming into the business, they just need to get new agents consistently to always keep that flow going. So, that's a breakdown.
Yeah, if you're new to the business, like if that hasn't dawned on you yet, a lot of this business is about selling you leads and profiting on the front end without ever providing any real
Hmm.
value on the back end. There's one three-letter MLM I won't mention. They've been selling $10, $11 leads that they generate for pennies on the dollar. They're just really data. And then they resell them over and over. So they may spend 50 cents to a dollar to make $50. Now do that thousands of times a day, and you see where their motive really lies. Is it in helping you? No, it's in helping themselves. So you guys, this is the first thing I think that's really important for newer agents, is understand that not everybody's looking out for your best interest in this business, and that a lot of players are just trying to profit without providing a value in return. So it's very important, especially with leads, to deal with reputable lead vendors that are high quality, that you can get references from. People can speak highly. Like if somebody wanted to work with Oscar and his lead programs, talk to me. I could tell you exactly down to the penny, or at least down to the results we've seen with our agents and agencies, how well his programs work. And that's the kind of thing that you should demand as an agent. So, anything else you want to add with the leads?
No, no, I think that's you just thinking about when you get into really generating your own leads and building that audience. You want to feed it the right information, because when you're generating leads for yourself, there you don't have time to waste, right? You don't want to bait and switch anybody. Like, it's already hard enough as it is to try to get somebody on the phone, or to try to get somebody a presentation, and then sell that person insurance. So I don't want to waste time, and so it's the lead starts everything. And as new agents, you got to have enough leads to really practice the pitch and get through the hurdles that you're going to have while you're learning how to present and how to properly close somebody when you do get the opportunity, or if you're face to face, either one. So leads is the engine that drives the business. Without it, there is no business. You could be a great closer, but if you don't have leads to convert, then there is no business. So it's very, very important, and definitely, again, controlling it, I think at some point is
Right.
where you should want to be.
So, any questions about leads so far? Happy to take anything from the audience. Kind of a segue here. Lead generation, tactics, tips, advice. Okay, excellent. We wanted to talk about CRMs.
Hmm.
CRMs are a common question we get from agents. CRM is where you house your data, your leads. How do you manage that? There's a ton of options out there. It can be very confusing. Can you kind of give us some guidelines, kind of like what to look for in a CRM and what's good?
Yeah, I think now more than ever, the CRMs are playing a huge part in the business, and not just organizing. It used to be a CRM was just, all right, I'm going to organize my information, and then and just contact management. But really, a lot of these CRMs have really become so much more. And so when you look at a CRM, you want to have something simple, that you can easily use. But just as important, that the CRM is providing you with mainly marketing, sales, nurturing applications and things that will help you nurture that lead. Thinking about, I generate a lead right now, somebody watches a video, fills out a lead form, then I get that lead form. I need to act on it. I have minutes to send them out a text message, to try to call them, to try to really engage, because there's no better time to talk to that person than when they just saw the video, they just felt the pain points, they filled out the information. So speed to lead, right? And that's super, super important in this business, in any business, but in this business very much. And so you want to get to it quickly. So CRMs provide the technology for you to be able to instantly get that lead in your system, instantly deliver it, a workflow or an SMS text, using now stuff like ChatGPT, OpenAI, which is what we're doing now with David's CRM, right? We've been just building and testing, and it's incredible the results that an AI can now have, like a conversation that it can actually have with folks when that lead comes in, and answer simple questions and all these things that are going to help you. AI won't close deals for you, but it's going to help you get people to engage,
Yeah.
which is what you need, right? You need that lead to answer a question via text, because now you're understanding that there's intent there, right? Now you're delivering that person through a pipeline that now says, okay, this person's interested. I need to quickly get on the call and reach out. And then, CRMs provide additional good CRMs will provide you with things like templates and funnels, because you want to be able to get a lead, call them, text them, but what else can we do to try to, again, create more intent, to try to get this person to interact with us more? So one of the things that we do a lot of is we'll build, calendar funnels, that will funnel people, right? So somebody fills out the lead form, and then we're offering them the opportunity to book a call with an agent, within the next couple of days. And then in addition to that, right, so somebody then books that call through that calendar funnel. And then we're going to maybe even ask them additional questions. Hey, by the way, some of our customers like to answer some additional questions. It helps us better prepare for our call. And if that person answers additional questions, for final expense, it could be stuff like height, weight, tobacco use, really important information that you're going to want to know, with the idea and the concept being, again, you're funneling the person, right? A percentage of people come in at the top, a percentage of people will pre-book an appointment with you, and then a percentage of those people will answer additional questions. And it's helping you manage and see, again, who has more intent versus somebody else. So CRMs are super, super powerful. Highly recommend them, especially if you're going to do telesales. They're almost, at this point, if you don't have it, you're behind. You
Yeah.
know, yeah, you're competing. And if you're competing with, like, my agency or your agency, you're behind. Because we're automating, we're hitting you every which way.
It's pretty cool on the AI chat too. It's like the Terminator. Like it doesn't take no for an answer. It's always coming after you. It won't stop. Like the stuff that it
Yeah,
says. I mean, you got to
yeah,
work it and program it.
yeah,
Like we're behind the scenes working on this, mainly Oscar and probably a bit of Tim as well.
yeah,
And it's been great. I mean, to have something setting appointments for you, especially selling over the phone, or at least having calls being anticipated. I mean,
yeah.
it's it's great, and
It's
it's
huge.
just there in the background. You don't have to think about it.
Yeah.
You do telesales, right?
Yeah.
I think a couple of A or open enrollments for ACA. You wrote several hundred
Yeah.
ACA plans over the phone. You've also written averaging 10 final expense plans over the phone. So I think
Yeah.
not just from marketing, but from a sales perspective, you've got a lot of understanding, in the business. Can you give us some general tips? I think, and a lot of people in here, I think face-to-face sale, but they use the phone to set appointments. So if you
Hmm.
can kind of give us some general tips, like how can we use the phone either to sell more or to get more appointments? Like, what would you recommend?
Look, I think that thinking about again that pipeline and lead flow. So now a lead comes in, now I get them to pick up the phone, right? That's precious. And when you generate leads or however many leads you're getting, because now, okay, let's say you have your leads, now they're coming in. Well, now you need to be able to master how you're going to sell this person insurance as quickly as possible. And so one is wherever you align, wherever you end up going, you have to have support, you have to have a team. That's the first thing I would say.
Yeah.
Like I can't get better unless I have support and a structure and a system that I can tap into and that's going to teach me what's been working for other folks. Sales is about activity. It's just about consistency and activity. So there you can't be stagnant. If you want to go into the insurance business and that's a thought in your license, you got to jump. You got to go, you got to calculate and start right away and get yourself on the phones. Don't think about so many things because there's a million things coming at you when you're a new insurance agent, CRMs, the leads, uplines, all these things. And sometimes I see now as an agency owner, and doing a lot of the marketing and talking to a lot of new agents that they'll spend 2 months trying to find a CRM. They'll spend 3 months trying to find a lead vendor. They'll spend, and then 8 months has gone by and they haven't spoken to anybody. And so you have to start, you have to go. It's a risk, but that's what business is about. So I think that's number one. And then just being on the phones, you can only get better by doing. You can only get better by losing deals, right? And I always like have what I've been doing sales for a long time, even before ecom. I was in the mortgage business. I was, in a stock room when I was 18 years old, as an opener for stockbrokers. So I've just been on the phones really most of my life. So it's it if you're not losing deals, you're not calling enough, right? If you're not losing business, you're not doing enough business because that's what sales is about. It's about activity and it's about just staying on it. And you get better, be coachable. That's a huge thing. Sales isn't for everybody. Some people do get burnt out and it's like, oh, but if it's for you, and you have to look at this as sales is just the part of your business, right? You're starting a business now, you are the salesperson. But the idea is that you get to a place later in your career where you have a team, right? Where you can build, like what you've done, right? Just have over the years, become a real powerhouse. And so I think if you look at it that way, it's like, okay, I'm not just on the phones, right? I'm building a book of business. And that's always been my approach for working for myself, right? Like, yeah, I might have to be on the phones 8, 9 hours a day, but you know what? I'm building something that's mine. And there's going to come a time where that investment that I made into the phones is going to pay me back. And so that's what you work for. And that's the mentality that I think you have to be able to get through the tough days because there's going to be tough days, right? There's days where it doesn't matter how good of a closer you are, you're going to get hung up on and you're going to lose deals, and then there's going to be days that are like, I can't stop writing deals, like hand me the next person because I'm ready. And you have to be able to make it through those ups and downs and stay consistent throughout all of it. I think that's the one of the big secrets of like being a good salesperson, right? Is being able to stay consistent through the ups and downs and that just business throws
Sounds
at
like
you.
our day yesterday. You know,
It's every day. It's like, gosh, one day you're trying to figure out what. this broke or this isn't working or the CRM is down or, AI sending out 50 texts and it shouldn't, like all these things that happen every day. So,
Business is messy.
oh,
It really is.
it really is, but if you can get through that, right? And if you can stay consistent and keep your eye on the prize and just stay focused, stay on it, you will be successful.
Kixie. You know much
Kixie.
about it?
Yeah, yeah,
Can
sure.
you tell the audience here what Kixie is, how it works?
Yeah, Tixie's a very powerful tool. It's basically a power dialer. So what Kixie does is it basically turns an independent agent into a call center. That's essentially what you're doing. It's an application that allows you to dial up to a certain amount of numbers at a time. And so when we are when we're telesales agents and we're doing 100 leads a week, 150 leads a week. Some of these agents out there that are producing big numbers are running maybe sometimes even 250 leads a week. And so when you get to those numbers, you want a system that's just dialing for you, right? The CRM typically will provide you with just a single line dialer, so you can dial from the CRM. But once you have that amount of leads at high volume, you want to be able to dial 3 or 4 lines at a time. And all it does is it's calling more. It's all a numbers game. So if I can dial 4 lines at a time versus one, well, my contact rates are going to quadruple, right? They might stay the same, but now I'm dialing 4, so I'm going to get to those people quicker. Were you going to say? No, so the application knows it's based on milliseconds. So literally, as soon as somebody picks up, like this, the other 3 lines are off. It's completely automated. And I think once you get to a place where you need enough leads to run it.
Yeah.
You do need enough leads to run it. So it's not something you get like day one, but certainly within like 30 or 60 days, it's something you should be considering if you're doing a good amount of leads.
So the reason I bring up Kixie, the power line is very powerful. But one cool thing that they do, and this is, I think, relevant to face as well, is they have this system to overcome, the telemarketer likely, the spam likely, like that is killing calling people.
Yeah.
I mean, why would anybody want to pick up the phone, especially when they see that? And so what Kixie does is they have a workaround where any area code you call, they show a local area code number. It's compliant because it's not spoofing, like making up a fake number. It's real. And then even if they call you back on that number, it gets redirected to you. But what happens is every day they basically scrub those numbers clean so that for the carriers, the stuff shows up as a regular number and it bypasses the spam likely, the telemarketer likely stuff. And what we've seen, somewhere between a 200% and 300% pickup rate. And that's a game changer for telesales. Yeah. But even for face-to-face, it's not the no's that kill you, it's the maybes. Yeah. People that never pick up the phone or you never see that, there's business in some of those leads, but you just can't get them to answer. So this tool, especially for telesales, but certainly for face-to-face, it's going to allow you to talk to more people you never, ever would have.
Right.
Right. And so I'm a big advocate of it. I did a support video or testimonial video on it for them. I mean, I think it's 150, 200 bucks a month. But I believe in it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's made a huge difference, especially in telemarketing, because picking up that's the issue.
Well, yeah, I don't think now that that the agency's been using it, how do going back on it is almost non-existent. You can't, because now you see how much more efficient one agent becomes, so it's just a numbers game. And it's the cool thing about Kixie is it integrates with most CRMs that are out there.
Right.
So it's an easy integration and the data feeds back and forth. So to have a complete system, or end goal, that's where you want to be. You want to have your CRM, your automations, your dialer, your Kixie dialer. And I think those are the important tools that make you better quicker.
So it's KIXIE.com, unless you're wondering. And KIXIE.com. Tell them Dave sent you. So I get my kickback. No, even if I wasn't, I would say, please get them anyway. They're great.
Yeah.
Any questions on any of that? because we're going to talk about how some leads are becoming illegal.
Yeah.
We need to hit on that.
Oh yeah.
Anything about that? Yeah, in the back. Sorry. I mean, just the scrubbing. The scrubbing is the scrubbing the numbers clean to get it off the spam likely filter is the number one reason.
Yeah.
Multi-line dialer is great, but if I was multi-line dialing spam likely, I would just have that many more non-pickups, right?
Yeah.
That's how I look at it. So
Yeah.
that is everything to me.
Yeah. And I'll say I've used a few of them. And for me, my biggest sale on it was the integrations into Go High Level and into
Yeah,
the
gotcha.
CRMs. Because if not, it's just another piece of thing that I got to now figure out how I'm going to like tape together and still be efficient, you know? So the ease of connection was big for me.
And so if you use our CRM, this thing seamlessly integrates.
Yeah.
What that means, in case you're not in the know, just makes it work together a lot easier than having like one application here and another program here, and it becomes all easy.
That's right.
In the front?
The-
Yeah. Sure.
I tell you, I'm not nowhere near where I should be. Generating system.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, so there's a couple things, right? So one is when you generate your own leads or when you run ads on social media, you're not really buying leads, right? What you're doing is you're buying ads. So you're paying Facebook for them to show the video or whatever you're creative, whatever you want to send out to people. So you're paying them for that. However many leads yield from that, then that's a different thing. But that's what you're really doing. So you think about it and you say, okay, how much am I going to spend to try to get myself some leads? That really varies if you're full time, if you're part time. I really recommend one, if you're going to get in this business, you should go full time. But if you're in the business and you're doing telesales, you're going to want to get to a place for us that you're doing 100 plus leads a week. That's ideally where you want to be as an agent doing telesales. So now, what is it going to cost you per lead? Per lead that you pay Facebook, again, based on a daily budget, because that's how that works, it averages based on a few things, right? It's based on how many states are you going to be able to market in, right? Are you only marketing in the state of Florida, or are you in 20 states, or are you in 30 states? And the idea is really the more states you have, you're giving Facebook the ability to reach more people for you. Therefore, pricing is lower, right? That tends to be pretty accurate. And so, as an insurance agent, if you're going to go into telesales, you want to start off with a few. I think at 5 to 10 states is somewhere where you want to kind of be, and then you invest into your states and you start building that. Those leads can range between as low as sometimes $3 to $4 a lead, and it can be $12 or $13 a lead, really depending on, again, how big the audience is, who you're going for. So it ranges a little bit. So that's your first part of your question. Part two is if you're going to hire somebody to do it, right? If you're going to hire a company to say, okay, set this up for me, which is kind of what we do, right? We provide a white glove turnkey service where we do that. We create the ad accounts, we create the CRM, we customize all that stuff. That varies. Companies will charge anywhere from $1,000 to upwards of thousands of dollars. There's companies out there that will charge you 15, 20 grand to set stuff like this up, because there's value in it. But there's a lot of different ways that you can go about.
Yeah. So if you work with us most agents who do this are on the telesale side, they can work for face to face. You're looking at a $500 a month ad spend, or not ad spend, but payment to Oscar's company. And then we recommend 500 to 1,000 a week to deposit just towards Facebook to then generate those leads at whatever Facebook charges you, right? So 1,000 would be like maybe closer to 100 leads a week, probably a little bit more if you're telesales.
Yeah.
And then so you just can kind of form fit it to what your budget is and how much you want to work. Before I get to you, Martha, let me get Matthew in the back. Yeah, we're like almost. We're working on I forget what it is we're working on, but it's almost done. I
It's a
think
lot of AI
stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, AI. Turns out AI is not as smart as as we all think it is. You know, there's a lot of training involved that actually has to
Sometimes it
take
just says some
place.
stupid things and you got to train
Yeah,
it not to, so
yeah,
we don't want to train that on your leads, right? So
yeah. We're training on our own.
yeah, we were going to do a beta test, but I said, no, we need to get this straightened out first before, so I don't want to make y'all mad at me.
Thanks.
And that's about average. I mean,
Yeah.
ours is $100 a month, but then there's variable costs like the cost of text. Yeah. Right.
Mhm.
Long things, and then purchase them.
Right.
It's kind of just no AI, there's no drip.
Yeah.
Anything I want to do, I got to get next time. Figure it out manually.
Yeah.
Martha?
Sure, let's say we start with the Alpha Lead program and we become lucrative enough to want to have our drop the $500 monthly. What's the loss?
Oh, you mean self-generating your own?
Hmm.
The agency, do it. What do we lose? Do you yank all the creatives from us? What happens?
No, so the benefit in the alpha program that we run is that it's an entry point for an agent to start lead generation at wholesale, right? And we're tapping into David's Facebook ad accounts that he has running. And so the benefit is you're not paying that entire setup. It's already ready to go. You just pay us to manage and continually put new creatives and make sure that your leads are coming in at the low prices that we really want them to. Once you get to the point, and this happens a lot, we have agents that come into alpha and then a few months later they're like, hey, I want to now go out on my own and generate my own leads. Then we could help you create that system, the same one. And you would have your own video ad that we would create for you. We'd set up your Facebook ad account. We'd set up your CRMs would already be set up. So you would just take that on yourself. You'd have to just pay for it. The alpha program skips that upfront investment that an agent would have to build their own and taps into one that's already working.
And that's an important point. As a brand new agent, you should just be focusing on selling and learning the products. This business is complicated enough just on the sales side, but when you add in marketing and self-generation, it quadruples the complexity. So I look at self-generation. If you ever do it, it's something you do 3, 6+ months in. But I never self-generated leads as an agent. I always bought them. I think you can do just fine, or doing a management program. It's just a distraction, and nothing is ever as easy as it appears. And in fact, a lot of these Facebook courses you see out there, most people never actually do it because there's just so many moving parts. That's kind of why Oscar does a done for you program, gets it set up for you, makes life a little bit easier. But still, even with that, 1 second, I think it's more of like a 3 to 6 month period of time. Get good at selling first, and worry about marketing. Was there a question over here, and then I'll get back to you.
Yeah, I guess things are going on now. It's great, but even having speaking also about this, having somebody it's the creating it's all this cool, having somebody understand.
Yeah.
On the phone, we're pushing on them. It's paying more, get it also. Yeah.
Yeah. And the other thing is, as you run ads, it's not just like set it and forget it. Like he says, you have to be able to be in there. When I got here a couple hours ago, I went right into the ad account. I'm constantly in this ad account. I live and die by this thing because it's live data that's coming in every single second. And so if you're not adjusting, if you're not doing things like, for example, once an ad starts running, you got to start running retargeting campaigns, lookalike campaigns. You have to refresh those creatives. You have to test new lead forms. So there's just a lot of components to it. And it's brought us success because I've been doing that kind of stuff for
Yeah.
just a long time. I understand the concept of how to run a successful ad, and more importantly, then how to scale it, because one thing's you can run an ad at 20, 30 bucks a day, and it's like, that's great, but how do we get to where we really need to be, which is volume, and that's really one of the keys in again, most sales industries is you need leads, you need volume leads. So yeah.
Two-part, one, that you're putting out there, is that you want general to your agency, or is it customized? It's got our name on it, what do you call it?
No, it's not. So in the alpha program, it's general, because where we find a lot of success right now in creatives are really like review type videos, right? What's called like user generated content. So that's more a person, an actor that's kind of giving a review saying, something like, I can't believe, my wife's funeral cost us $14,000, and even worse, we had to come up with this money in under 48 hours. And I know I can't put my kids through this. A neighbor told me about final expense programs are very affordable. So it's that kind of style of scripting. So it's not so much focused on like the brand and who's calling. But we do offer that. That's actually one of the things that we're trying to roll out now for some of the alpha agents that are saying, hey, I kind of want to do a video, of myself, or, somebody like Sebastian who is on there. He's building a brand. We're friends on Facebook. Today we met for the first time, but I see him on social media putting out his content, creating his brand. And so if you're that kind of agent and you want to build that, then we can certainly utilize your own content, edit, produce, and then run ads against it. And that just helps you, again, build your own brand.
The other part was, if you can call and horn about your CRM, contrast that with, like Agent Autopilot, that's marketing. I mean, it's all similar, high platform, but you guys are new and you're better. So how are you better?
I'll tell you that, there are some great, white label versions of Go High Level. In the back end of it, what happens with a white label platform is that they're monetizing what Go High Level provides. That's their business, right? Agent CRM's business. It's a great one. He's done a great job in building this platform, right? Because it's very specific to insurance agents, and it certainly helps. But he's also monetizing all these features that Go High Level provides to you on an agency. And I think that's a huge benefit with using David CRM, is that we're not monetizing things, right? It's like, here's everything that Go High Level provides. Here it is. Go ahead and have access to it. And by the way, here's how I'm structuring my agency and moving efficiently by having connections to Kixi, by having this AI built out, customized. All these things are basically already available. And I'll say another thing that, again, a white label version will do very templated things within the CRM, right? Because they want to cater not to just final expense agents. They want to cater to ACA, Medicare, PNC. They want everybody. So they need to create templates that feed all these other industries. David, right now, the focus is final expense, all these AIs, all these workflows, and it's building out into, IULs and different things. But the main component of the business is final expense. So you're using a CRM that's very specific to that.
And it's a living, breathing thing. Like, we're constantly making this better for the sake of not selling you memberships, to make you help you sell more insurance, final expense specific, right? So we care about, how does this thing help facilitate you making money? Because that's how I make money. I mean, I'm not making my retirement off $100 a month subscription fee. It's off of the overrides, right? I want more of them. That means more sales for you, right? So I think that's an important distinction, because I'm not marketing this to the public. This is just for our people. One more question, then we're going to talk about leads going illegal. Go ahead.
Yes.
You said earlier that each year between $3 and possibly $15 or $18. Is that including the cost of your agency fee, the $500 a month, or is that not including that fee?
Good question. Yeah, so no, it's not including that fee. If you break down the $500 cost, if you're a full-time agent, you're probably paying probably between 50 and 80 cents per lead to cover that $500. That's what it actually breaks down to. Yeah, your cost per lead, we don't typically account that to it. But the more leads you're doing, the lower my cost basically becomes, you know. But no, and leads again, they just vary. You know, right now we have campaigns that are running at $5, $6 a lead, and sometimes they
Yeah,
average
they do.
$8 or $9 a lead, and then sometimes we try something. You know, like this just happened with Tim. We tried this different thing on a few ads. You know, on put them on a schedule. Turns out that doesn't work so good. You know, so now we're making that shift to different things. So it's a constant that you have to be doing to improve and to find little pockets of good leads that you might be able to tap into.
This is why I like the management program, because all of this crap you don't
Yeah.
have to worry about.
Yeah.
You just sell,
Yeah. Right.
because it's a lot of detail, man. It really is.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk about the FCC ruling. Anybody, who's heard of the FCC ruling? Oh, good. Okay, so good general
Nice.
awareness here. Go into detail. It's for those
Yeah.
that don't know about it. Explain what it's about, what it entails, and let's have a little conversation.
Yeah. So this is something that's been in the works for a while, and you see it in telesales as a whole, which started before even that FCC rule. Was this A2P registration, which is another component of these changes that they're trying to make. I feel great about them just because what they're doing is they're cleaning up the telesales and the telephony business. That's really what's happening, and we need it because I like I'm sure everybody else, you get 100 calls every day from spam numbers. I have no idea where these numbers are, and I pick them up. I actually do pick them up because I want to hear where they're coming from, and I listen to that stuff. But
You sadist.
yeah, I literally will listen to it, you know, and I know now when I pick up and it goes whoop, like you hear the little whoop, you know what's coming. You know, it's Biden himself on the other end of the phone, and he's got thousands of dollars ready for you, you know, and so the spamming,
I would believe that.
yeah, yeah. So the spamming is just at an all-time high. So now these new rules. So now to talk about that rule is it talks about the consent and how a person's information can be reshared, resold, who actually has the authority to contact that person that gives you their information and says, hey, you know, I do want more info on final expense insurance. Up until now, and it doesn't go into effect until the end of this year, but up until now and still running, I can be a lead company and I can put out an ad, a very general ad, could be for insurance, for final expense, and anybody here fills it out, right? And you fill it out, and when you hit submit, there's a disclaimer at the bottom, a consent, right? That says something like you know by filling this out or submitting, you now authorize us to not just contact you ourselves, but also for our partners, affiliates, and other businesses to contact you, and you give us the complete right to call you until your house burns down, you know, and that's what happens. Now I generate that lead, and maybe you filled it out for final expense, but gosh, now I have a piece of data on somebody who maybe is over the age of 65. This also might be a Medicare lead. This also might be, you know, a PNC lead. This also might be all these, right? This might be a tax lead. This might be a credit card lead. I mean, data is monetized every single minute. We don't really think about it. But again, I said it before, like controlling your own data and actually having it is very, very powerful because people pay for it. And so now you fill that out. Now I'm this lead company. And so I can go and sell this lead to a Medicare agency, to a life insurance agency, to a tax guy, to a credit card company. And here we are, right? We get 100 spam calls a day, right? That's the result of that. So now the law is the one-to-one consent. So now you can no longer, businesses, lead companies, anybody generating leads or getting consents from consumers can no longer sell that information to other industries, right? If I fill out an application or submit a lead for final expense, only that business and that business only and its employees or subcontractors can contact me. Nobody else. I can't monetize that over. So where we are with, you know, now, like one of the things you can do right now is buy age data. I can go buy data from people that filled out a lead form 5 days ago. And so that's going to start going away, because that lead might have been filled out for a different type of insurance. And now they're selling it to me as an age data for, 50 cents. And, look, I think there's a place for it. And I think it's going to make a lot of changes. Lead companies are adjusting now. I think they'll still find a way to make us buy their garbage. I think they'll still happen, but I do think there's a major slowdown in it, and you have to be prepared for it. So if you're an insurance agent and you only dial age data, or that's how you kind of gain your business, you're going to have to make some changes. So lead generation becomes powerful, or having an ad manager, somebody that can run your own leads, becomes very, very powerful.
When's this coming into effect?
August.
Is it that soon?
I believe so.
Didn't they push it back?
They might have. I'm not sure.
Okay,
I
okay,
thought I didn't. I don't know. There you
Okay,
go. So
okay, end of
right.
year.
So it was all right. So it was
So-
August now to December.
We talking like we.
Well,
That's
it's
big
such-
money. Yeah.
It's such a huge
Yeah.
seismic shift
Guys,
to the
it's-
market
Yeah.
that I think that's a legitimate thing to do, because in multiple industries have to recalibrate how they generate leads.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. First of all, can I hear an amen? Amen. This is the best thing. It's not going to affect anybody here.
Right.
If you're buying fresh and exclusive leads.
Right.
So if you're on our program, you're doing your own self-gen, that has this really has nothing to do with you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. What this has to do with is making the consumer experience of talking on the phone pleasant again.
Yeah.
And I think it's gotten to such a fever pitch that this is welcome, very much welcome. And the outcome of this is that your calling legit leads will improve. Pickup rates will go back up over time. People will want to pick up the phone because the spam is going to drop off tremendously. It won't go away forever, but it will cut back a ton.
Yeah.
And that means because there's now more intent with the leads and there's more of a directness, the outcome is a better experience, not just for the consumer, but for agents working legitimate leads.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Downsides of this, what are we going to see in the short run?
Well, I think if you're buying leads, well, you're going to see a shift into more people generating leads,
Yeah.
Into more fresh lead generation is going to happen, right? So now these lead companies that maybe they were buying data and then generating and then building their own leads and reselling them to you, which is a big business. The brokering of data is a massive, massive business. And when you said that they pushed it off, somebody mentioned they pushed it off for, yeah, there's lots of money behind this, guys. This data is big, big money. So they're going to try to continue. I wouldn't be surprised if it doesn't get pushed out longer.
Yeah.
But the downsides, competition. More lead companies are going to start competing. So I think you have to have a direct message. I think you have to understand good marketing principles when you're running an ad. And I think you have to follow through with whatever technology is out there available to help you engage and deal with the leads that you generate, and I think that those that start heading in that direction now will be ahead of the curve, because typically what happens is everybody procrastinates. Everybody waits until the last minute.
Yeah.
So a lot of people, a lot of companies will go out of business because they don't make the changes that they need to. And I think when they say this is the day this is changing, you're going to see an instant increase in cost and things. And so if you're already established, if you already have audiences built, and you already have that foundation, that
Right.
marketing foundation in your practice, then you're steps ahead. I mean, we've talked about this,
Okay.
like doing this in the last, maybe we're close to maybe a year now that we've been running these programs. Like, now you control all these things. You're
Right.
a year, we're almost 2 years ahead of the curve here on something that's going to bring a major shift to this business at the end of the year.
Do you think it's going to slow down recruiting?
Oh,
With the big MLMs?
in a way, I think in a way,
Yeah.
yeah, because they do sell that data back and forth to each
I mean,
other. I feel like recruiting is,
The big component to recruiting is cheap leads,
yeah,
and it's largely aged direct mail
right,
or aged craft leads, right? And that's all going away,
yeah,
especially if you're telesales. Like, even working age direct mail, I think this falls under the same
Yeah.
category.
Yep.
I mean, it's gonna slow down recruiting, but you know, It's not necessarily a bad thing.
No, I mean, look, I think that
Less
there
competition. That's the way to look at it. You know, it was a good.
there is, yeah, and I think that there's such a need for this product out there. You know, there's
yeah.
it's never ending, guys, and so I think it's about how good can you get right quickly, right yourself. How good can I get on the phones? How can I get some good leads? How can I generate some leads? And how can I just put my head down and work through all this white noise? Because that's all this is, right? It's like, all right, these law changes and all this stuff. If you go in the right direction and you stay with it, this will be an advantage. I think the next couple of years in the insurance business, there's a big shift, right? From no technology, right? There's still agents out there that are running their business off of Excel spreadsheets and notepads, you know, and they write their leads down. And those, if those guys are not making a change in the next few years, you're gonna fall behind, you know. Yeah, no, you're good now, you know.
Not surprised, dude.
Yeah. You know, but it's important, you know, it really is important to make those shifts and stay ahead of things.
Any last questions, Ross? We're going to do a little open mic Q&A here for 15, 30 minutes before we wrap it up. Any questions about leads, the FCC ruling, CRMs? Sebastian?
You were talking. Key pointers. Okay.
You know, I think that creatives, and we were talking about this before, creatives are super important, you know. So I think if you're generating and doing your own leads, you want to have fresh creatives going in there, you know, constantly. Always have creatives, try stuff out. And we just put out that video. We've just put out a tutorial on Facebook ads, and if you go watch it, it's on the YouTube channel. In that video, I wanted to make sure, when David said to me, hey, can we do this? I said, sure, but I want to provide some value different from all these other courses and stuff that are out there. And that's, how can I create a video? You know, and you mentioned it. You're like, I didn't even know I could make a video on Canva. And so I think that makes it so much easier for you to, you know, spend 2 hours, make 8 of those things, you know, make 8 or 9 variations and test. I guess that's what it goes back to. Like, you got to constantly be testing stuff and try to schedule stuff out, you know, because as an independent agent, where it's like, all right, I'm self-generating my own leads and then I'm also managing my own ads, you got to fit in time for all of it, you know. So those are the things I'd say.
Let me come up to you and get a mic. Then we're going to have Stephen and David come on up here for extra questions. So if you have a question about anything today, anything you wanted to ask, or anything we didn't cover, this is the time to ask it. So go ahead, Mark. Hold it.
Hi. Earlier, David Heath said that face-to-face leads take about 5 to 6 weeks. What's the turnaround time for electronic Facebook
Hmm.
leads?
Those leads are pretty quick. So typically we can set up an ad and it be running about 48 hours, 72 hours typically. So it's pretty quick. Yeah, it's pretty quick.
Direct mail takes 4 to 5 weeks.
Right.
Facebook, to order them can take days. From self-gen much faster, potentially.
Yep.
Questions? Matthew, hold on. I want to.
So I do primarily face to face. I mean, there are occasions I make sales over the phone, generally on references and stuff, referrals. Uh, is the CRM really worth it for me? I mean, a lot of this you're talking about is telemarketing based. I mean, I have a mix of business, ACA, Medicare, final expense. I mean, is it going to be something that's worthwhile?
Yeah, I'll answer that. Yeah, I think it is. Yeah, because it's one central location where all your leads and now your customers are going to be located. And so with a CRM, if you think about customer acquisition and retention, right, which is now a major part of building your book of business, becomes retention and customer service. And being able to provide that becomes a lot easier if you use a CRM. So even if just for that, as a local agent, and I still have, you know, face-to-face agents that will say, you know what, just send me my leads through a form and you know, we'll work them out. And that makes sense. But if you know, if you're consistent and you want to build your business and your book, it really does help, because look, if you have, your entire book in there and on your CRM, you can run a retention workflow, for example, which is a text that's going to go out to your customer every birthday, every major holiday, and check-ins every 3 to 6 months. Hey, Mark, how are things going? It's been 6 months since we got you set up with your coverage. How's the family? And it opens up that where the person responds, and now the door is open to cross sale, right? Now the door is open to bring that person into a different product and generate more revenue off of a customer. And then retention, if you're talking about ACA, getting ready for open enrollment, and all that stuff.
Yeah, I think especially for you face to face, get I know as a salesperson, I should call that person, spend 3 months, 6 months. They said they needed more coverage, but I'm in the thick of going out to see my leads and trying to close sales. There's things we know we need to do, but we don't give it the time. So this is where AI, or at least even an automation on CRM, can take care of that very important thing, because they don't know it's not you texting them, emailing them, reaching out to them. But for those who are in market, I mean, it's a business producing activity when it's set up correctly. It's going to be an income producing activity, which is the whole reason to have it. Yeah.
Yeah. And most of them you use right on your phone. They have apps. So you could be out on the field and you walk out and you see a lead came in, that system already sent them a text for you, maybe even pre-booked an appointment for you. So there's a lot of things that are useful.
Questions?
Yes.
Does the $500 monthly agency fee include the fee for Kixie and High Level?
No, those are your additional cost. Your CRM. So your cost when you become an agent is, licensing, get that out of the way. Then it's, if you're going to run a CRM, you have to pay for a CRM, you have to pay for your dialer, and then your lead cost. And that can include